Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new loot video for you all today. So today I bring you loot from 1,000 barrels, and these are the barrels that you can find in the Vyeldi Caves. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. And these barrels can be found during or after the Legends quest, and if you smash these barrels, inside of them will reveal either a random item, a random monster, or both. Released into the game August 20th, 2003. This is all about the Legends quest, which was released on the same day, obviously, and it was the 50th quest by order of release date, so this is really old. And as it goes for the required items in order to get to this location and do this activity, or whatever you want to call it, you are going to be needing a pickaxe, a lockpick, an unpowered orb, and also all the runes that you're going to be using for the spell Charge Earth Orb. As you can see in my inventory at the very bottom right, I pretty much had all those items there, and of course the Karamja gloves for faster teleporting, since Shiloh Village Bank is the closest bank to this location and also one of the closest teleports. And there they are, the barrels that this video is all about, and they seem so close, yet they are so far away. Anyone familiar with the Legends quest, or anyone who has done, I believe, the Master Clue Scroll step that's in this location, definitely knows all about the journey, the very long journey that it takes to get here. Whether you're having to use a lockpick on a door, or smash a lot of boulders, or of course open up the gate and run through all the bats, and then jump through all the shortcuts in the walls. And you can imagine that all the running that we had to do in order to get back and forth here was going to make the banking for this video very annoying. And I will say that's probably the most annoying part of this video, is just the run to get to this location. And once you get to this location, you simply use that earth spell on the door every single time. Make sure not to forget your orb, and you will be granted access. You'll basically be flown right in. Now, the idea for this video came to me via email late yesterday morning, and I thought that it was such a great idea that I was going to pause my video that I'm working on right now, Loot from 100 Jad, and I was going to do this video right away. So that's pretty much what started this, and if you guys ever have any suggestions for videos, check out the description. Make sure to send me a message on Snapchat, or just send me an email, and I will always take it into consideration. So just putting that out there. So as you can see on screen, the fun has begun, and we are starting to smash 1,000 barrels and pick up whatever they may have inside of them, except one item that I pretty much avoided the whole entire video. I think I only picked up 2 of them, and that would be the basic rock. I'm not too sure what this rock is, used for in this game. It's literally just called a rock. It's not a stone, it's just a rock. And yeah, I would never pick those up, and I would say that maybe 30 to 40% of the time you would just get a rock and nothing else, and that kind of ruined all the other drops that we could potentially get, but that kind of benefited me at the same time, because that would just mean less banking. So I would just say ignore the rocks. They're really not good for anything unless you're Dwayne the Rock. It's a lame joke. But anyway, yeah, other than the rocks, you can get a lot of different items, and on top of that, a lot of different monsters can potentially spawn. I mean, just look at all the monsters in that one area, and this is multi too, so like, I don't know, maybe this could potentially be the next best AFK training location, the 2003 edition of Nightmare Zone. And in our very first inventory, we did actually do 44 barrels, and if you're curious how I was able to keep track of every single one of them, basically I was just counting out loud, or just counting in my head. At first I thought it would be easier to kind of just use my keyboard, and every single barrel I would smash and open, I would just type 1, 2, 3, etc. But that got really annoying, and it was honestly just such a fast-paced thing that counting was much easier. So every single inventory that I would teleport out, the number that was last said, either in my head or out loud, because I'm a weirdo and I talk to myself, well, that number would be written on a notepad document, which you guys will see very soon, and basically I would just put inventory 1, this many barrels, inventory 2, this many barrels. So I would just do that until I reached 1,000. Very memorable of the Wise Old Man task video, that's kind of what I did for that as well, because you can't keep track of everything, even with RuneLite. RuneLite doesn't even keep track of these barrels. Gotta make that an update or something. Now, it is important to also note that the monsters in here are not the only things that can damage you. You should see throughout this video a few occasions of me trying to open a barrel and getting damaged, usually with a splintering piece of wood as something explodes, and you will get hit for I think anywhere from 8 to 15 damage off of that, so that's usually how I would lose most of my health. There would be also things like dark wizards that can spawn and use magic attacks against you, but I think everything else for the most part just uses melee. So you can bring food here if you're a lower level. I never personally needed it, but I would always bring a super restore just in case. I would use like the redemption prayer or something to help me out, which I did. I think maybe 3 times. But for the most part, these are such low-level monsters, and the actual complete list of everything that can possibly spawn here, the monsters are Black Knight, Chaos Dwarf, Dark Warrior, Dark Wizard, Deadly Red Spider, Deathwing, which is a bigger version of a normal bat, Giant Bat, Giant Rat, Giant Spider, Hill Giant, Hobgoblin, Moss Giant, Mugger, Scorpion, Skeleton, and Zombie. So I think out of all those monsters, the highest level one would definitely be the Moss Giant and the Hill Giant. I didn't really try to kill any of them for this video, although maybe if you guys enjoy this, I could do 10,000 barrels next time and also kill every single monster that spawns. But I think the only thing that would really be beneficial off of that would be the Moss Giant and Hill Giant loot. From the other monsters, I think the best thing you could get maybe would be a Skeleton or Zombie Champion Scroll. So other than the barrels, you know, the monsters really aren't that popular. And next we move on to the very long list of all the possible items that you can get, because my goodness, look at that bank tab. I mean, there's just so much of everything. And I wouldn't say the problem is the quality, I would definitely say the problem is the quantity. There's just not a whole lot that you can get amount-wise of all these, you know, somewhat useful and somewhat useless items, but a lot of these are actually pretty cool items. And although there's way too many items to go over every single one individually, I will say the rarest, or at least the most expensive item that you can get from these barrels would be a Prayer Potion Sip 1, and that is valued at 3k exactly. There's also occasions where you can get a lot of different fish, including raw shark and cooked shark, and those are noted, as well as all the other fish that you can get. And I think the most expensive item out of all those fish would be the raw sharks, which is going to be just about 2.5k. Of course, you will have your selection of runes, darts, pickaxes, knives, a lot of materials, ores, logs, and bars, and of course some random items, for example, bowstrings, caskets, tinderbox, torches. And there are 2 untradeable items that you can get from these barrels, one of them being Snakeweed, which was actually released into the game a year before this, October 23rd, 2002, and that item is used in Jungle Potion and also Legends Quest. And the other untradeable item that you can receive from these barrels would be a Paramaya ticket, which is basically a ticket that allows a player to spend the night in the dormitory of the Paramaya Inn. And if you're really confused right now, it's because its main use was in RuneScape Classic. Any Classic players know what I'm talking about? Because I sure have no idea. This is when players had to sleep in a bed to reduce their fatigue so they could train their stats. Those without a sleeping bag would have to buy a Paramaya ticket to use the bed in Shiloh Village. So yeah, quite the story behind that. I'm definitely never going to get rid of those. I never knew that coming into this video. And according to the wiki, this ticket was actually made untradeable on January 22nd, 2007 because of the players who were using it to scam other players, I guess in the trade screen somehow. Now getting back to the barrels, it is important to note that just about 1 year after these barrels were released into the game with the Legends Quest, there was a new barrel released into the game just around September 20th of 2004, and this would be used alongside the Regicide Quest as well as Morning's Ends Part 1. You can also find a barrel in the Tourist Trap Quest, and overall it really just seems to be a quest item. I think these are the only barrels in the game that, although they are involved with a quest as well, you can actually get something from them even afterwards. And according to the wiki, as of today still, there's currently a glitch that will cause a player's cannon to disappear if a barrel respawns on top of it. That's actually kind of a silly thing because the barrels can respawn anywhere in the room, so you'd have to place your cannon and be very patient, but yeah, that can happen as well. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, loot from 1,000 barrels has been completed, and oh, what a strange video it was. But overall, this video only took just about 4 hours to complete, so if you enjoyed it and you want me to do a bigger number of barrels, just let me know. Maybe I can switch it up for next video. This is kind of just like that 1,000 unclean find video, and what I mean by that is the loot is definitely going to be underwhelming, but I think the variety and the story behind it makes the video worth uploading overall. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this price check. Price check number 1. This is all of the fish, all the pies, the pineapple, the cheese, and all the coins from 1,000 barrels. You get just about 854 GP. A couple potions as well, and the overall price check for that is 50.5k. And now we move on to the second price check. These are the expensive items, the prayer sips. Overall, we got 19 of those, 23 rune knives, small amount of darts, and we did get some uncharged orbs back, but overall the price check from that is 105.7k, and those prayer potions did account for almost half of that, so those definitely added up over time. And I had one item remaining, I couldn't fit it in there, and it was just the iron bars, and we did get an extra 1,000 GP from that. As it pertains to the untradeable items, we did get 22 Paramaya tickets as well as 11 11 snakeweed. I did also include the 12 ship tickets in there, but those are actually tradable. I mean, they're not worth anything, but you can trade them. So yeah, guys, that is just about it. We did receive 14 caskets, and I did decide to open all of them just because they're only 600 GP, so what's the worst that can happen, you know? But overall, 50.5 plus 105.7 plus an extra 1 brings the overall amount from 1,000 barrels to 157.2k. And had we not included the barrels that have nothing in them or just rocks, then obviously we would have a lot more to show for this, but then it wouldn't be 1,000 and there would be no way to track that. So yeah, not exactly the best money-making method in the game, but in 2003, this might have been good. This may have been something that, you know, someone did at some point. I'm really not too sure. I wasn't there and I wasn't playing around those days, but I'm sure those days were golden. You know, 2003, I think that was a year when the world was a lot less complicated than it is now. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you guys have any questions, just make sure to leave it in the comment section below. And until next time, Mr. No Sleep out.